Gansu hit by another 4.1 magnitude earthquake. Public fear and despair cast a shadow. Viral video, upstairs of abandoned hospital in Guangzhou full of prison cells, operating table with restraints. Flawed import-export data downplays China's economic plight. Behind Biden-Xi meeting, ambitions toward Taiwan revealed to Biden. It's all covered in today's China Truths. Gansu hit by another 4.1 magnitude earthquake. Public fear and despair cast a shadow. Following the 6.2 magnitude earthquake in Jishishan County, Linxia Prefecture, Gansu Province, aftershocks continue. Around 4 a.m. on December 21, another 4.1 magnitude earthquake occurred in the county, with a depth of 8 kilometers. Residents in the area reported being awakened by the tremors and described feeling a psychological weight, expressing that they are living in fear. The earthquake news briefly became a trending topic on mainland social media. Some said that they weren't genuinely scared to death by the earthquake, but the enormous warning sound from their phone in the middle of the night terrified them. It feels like it's going to give them a heart attack. It can be said that currently, a dark, fearful shadow is looming over the disaster-stricken region. Worse than Pakistani refugees. On December 20th, an article by NetEase's account Financial Gentlewoman pointed out that an earthquake has exposed the true face of poverty in northwest Gansu. In today's era of rapid economic development, many rural areas still live in the 1950s and 1960s. Who are they deceiving? Particularly worrisome is that many farmers still live in old houses lacking seismic resistance. Some netizens bluntly stated that 100 million people in China live in houses worse than Palestinian refugees. After watching the reports on CCTV about the Gansu earthquake, I felt uneasy seeing the houses that ordinary people live in. Many of them are still made of mud bricks. Thinking back to the housing of Palestinian refugees that I saw some time ago, they are all frame structures. How many of our people live in worse conditions than them? In Xi'an, many houses built by citizens themselves are not up to standard. I estimate that at least 100 million people in China live in houses worse than those of Palestinian refugees in Gaza. It's really pitiful. Viral video, upstairs of abandoned hospital in Guangzhou full of prison cells, operating table with restraints. Recently, a mysterious video emerged from mainland China and gained traction on international social media platforms. The footage captures a group of young men exploring an abandoned hospital in Guangzhou during the late hours. In China, there's a common trend among bloggers to create videos exploring haunted houses as a way to attract viewers. Although this particular video doesn't directly involve ghosts, the depicted scenes are undeniably eerie. In the video, the second-floor clinic doors are found to be locked. As they progress to the 4th floor, the explorers realize that what they initially assumed to be operating rooms are, in fact, prison cells. The cell doors are sizable, featuring both upper and lower openings. The upper opening appears to serve as a surveillance point for guards, while the lower one is for delivering food. Inside the rooms, there is only a cement bed accompanied by a squat toilet for basic needs. What adds to the horror is the absence of standard windows. Instead, there's a narrow opening covered with iron bars. The video uncovers that from the 4th floor to the 9th floor, the layout consists entirely of identical prison cells. From an external view, only large balconies are visible on the side where prison cell windows would be, hiding any signs of the cells. On the 2nd floor, an unlocked door leads to rooms with hospital beds, suspicious stacks of blood bags, and a room with tubes of coagulated blood. A peculiar talisman for Taoist rituals is found under a sink, adding to the eerie atmosphere. Additionally, an unusual operating table with restraints is discovered, a large iron plate with bindings on both sides, featuring a silhouette resembling a human head, suggesting it's designed to bind a person's head. The video creators expressed doubts about the purpose of the hospital's prison cells and question for whom the peculiar operating table is intended. Netizens are suspicious. The video has triggered discussions among online users. Some are speculating whether this facility could be a psychiatric hospital, using the prison cells to house mentally ill patients. However, the inclusion of a gynecological examination room and an operating table in the video suggests that it may not be exclusively a psychiatric hospital. The theory suggests that this might be a nursing home that was also eliminated because, according to the circulated footage online, nursing homes usually have windows and a different structure compared to this hospital. The most compelling hypothesis is that this hospital is engaged in secretly detaining individuals for organ harvesting, participating in an illegal organ trade. This speculation could provide a plausible explanation for the distinctive operating table. According to an organization dedicated to tracking the persecution of Falun Gong, years of investigation reveal that the Chinese Communist Party has developed a substantial organ transplantation industry following widespread organ harvesting from Falun Gong practitioners. They have established a nationwide network of organ donor repositories. Previously, a man claimed online that his family arranged for him to work as security in a clandestine underground facility in Guangzhou. His responsibility was to oversee those special prisoners inside, who entered but never left. Allegedly, these individuals were subjected to live organ harvesting. Guangzhou Yukon Hospital and Guangzhou Shenkan Hospital. The video of the abandoned hospital intentionally obscures the hospital's signage, but based on the building's structure, it's evident that the hospital was originally known as Guangzhou Yukon Hospital. Public records show its address on floors 1 to 9 of 451, Yanling Road, Tianhe District, Guangzhou. Until July 2021, the hospital posted COVID-19 vaccine notifications and was on the official list of vaccine administration centers. However, post-July 2021, finding public information about it became challenging. By 2023, Guangzhou Yukon Hospital was removed from the Guangzhou Health Commission's list. Guangzhou Yukon Hospital's predecessor was Guangzhou Shenkan Hospital. Guangzhou Shenkan Hospital had been in operation for a more extended period and was also a comprehensive facility. Before its closure, the hospital was once well known for cosmetic surgery and was suspected of being a Putian-style hospital. Putian-style hospital refers to a controversial model of private hospitals or clinics associated with the city of Putian in Fujian Province, China. These medical facilities have gained attention for practices such as aggressive advertising, questionable medical ethics, and alleged involvement in the black market for organ trafficking. Flawed import-export data downplays China's economic plight. China's customs agency released an import-export report this month that was riddled with errors and critical data. Financial experts say the errors are no oversight, but are most likely a deliberate tactic by the Chinese Communist Party to downplay the country's worsening economic plight. The General Administration of Customs claimed on December 7 that Chinese imports and exports had remained flat in the first 11 months of this year, reporting that November 2023 saw a trade surplus of $68.39 billion, an increase of 4% year-on-year. The data is found to be inadequate. On the contrary, the trade surplus not only failed to increase but instead decreased by 2.1%, based on China's $69.84 billion trade surplus in November 2022. Beijing's customs agency also said that in terms of the US dollar, the total value of imports and exports in the first 11 months of this year was $5.41 trillion, down 5.6%, and the trade surplus, which reached $748.13 billion, decreased by 2.7% from last year. However, based on the trade surplus of $802,044.1 million in the same period of 2022, the reduction in China's trade surplus from January to November can be calculated as 6.7%, much higher than the official figure. Likewise, total imports and exports values this year, compared with $5.78 trillion in 2022, were actually reduced by 6.4%, not the officially quoted number of 5.6%. Several other key numbers were also miscalculated, underplaying the slump in foreign trade. For instance, in the first 11 months, China's trade surplus with ASEAN, Association of Southeast Asian Nations, the European Union, and the United States shrunk by 15.2%, 21.9%, and 17.6% year-on-year, respectively. However, China customs lowered the figures to 1.7%, 16.7%, and 11.6%. US-based financial commentator Zhang Jinglin said on December 11 that it's a joke that Beijing's Customs Department miscounted trade data in light of today's intelligent calculators and computational software. Such errors provide more evidence for widespread criticism that Beijing's statistics are always faked. On the other hand, Mr. Zhang said, even if the CCP authorities have tampered with the data, it is not enough to cover up the decline in Chinese foreign trade, adding that China's trade surplus changed dramatically as the rest of the world has distanced itself from the communist regime. A worsening trade deficit. China's trade surplus has been steadily declining, with a 30.8% year-on-year drop in October and a further 2.1% decrease in November. This trend is evident in weakened trade with various countries. Notably, China's exports have sharply fallen throughout the year, leading to a substantial drop in its trade surplus with Europe, the United States, and emerging economies in Southeast Asia. However, Beijing's customs report did not specify trade data for individual countries. It is calculated that China's trade surplus with Vietnam, the Philippines, and Singapore fell by 34.7%, 32.6%, and 17.9%, respectively. The trade deficit with the European Union contracted by 31.3% in November, with notable decreases in trade surpluses with France, Italy, and the Netherlands. The deficit with Germany widened dramatically by 301% year-on-year. Additionally, China's trade deficit with Canada deepened by 9.8% in November and a staggering 97.9% from January to November. The deficits with Australia and Latin America increased by 34.7% and 622.8%, respectively, including a substantial 51.9% increase with Brazil. The trade deficit with South Africa expanded by 305%. According to Mr. Zhang, a decline in China's trade surplus will have a substantial and sustained impact on its economy. This may result in decreased production and an increase in the unemployment rate, particularly affecting regions where the youth unemployment rate has exceeded 50%. The economic repercussions extend to the yuan, as emphasized by financial professional Mr. Lin. The trade surplus is crucial for maintaining foreign exchange reserves, and any significant reduction may impact the stability of the yuan exchange rate. In turn, this instability can prompt traders to convert Chinese currency into US dollars or euros, posing a concern for Beijing. Furthermore, amidst a significant withdrawal of funds from China by developed countries, continued Chinese investments in the Belt and Road Initiative may lead to a net outflow of capital in the coming years, affecting the yuan's value. Notably, China's direct investment in Belt and Road countries has reached nearly $300 billion over the past decade. On a broader scale, the Wall Street Journal reported a substantial $12 billion withdrawal from China in the third quarter of the year, according to Bank of America Global Investment Strategies. This further underscores the challenges and potential economic risks China faces in the foreign trade landscape. Behind Biden-Xi meeting, ambitions toward Taiwan revealed to Biden. On December 20, NBC News cited 3 current and former U.S. officials stating that, during the U.S.-China summit in San Francisco in November, CCP leader Xi Jinping candidly told the U.S. President Biden that the CCP prefers to achieve reunification with Taiwan through peaceful means rather than force. He refuted the U.S. military's prediction of capturing Taiwan by 2025 or 2027, asserting that no timetable has been set. Before the summit, CCP officials requested Biden to publicly declare U.S. support for the CCP's reunification of Taiwan and opposition to Taiwan's independence. The White House rejected this request, and the National Security Council declined to comment. As tensions rise over Chinese provocations against Taiwan and with upcoming presidential elections in January, Xi expressed concern about the Taiwanese election during the San Francisco summit. Biden urged Beijing to respect Taiwan's election process, prompting Xi to acknowledge peace positively but emphasizing the CCP's need to find a resolution. A U.S. official noted that Xi's stance on Taiwan remains consistently firm. The Biden administration has long been concerned about Taiwan-related tensions, aiming to avoid military conflict with the CCP. Details of the Biden-Xi dialogue have gained attention, with White House National Security Council Coordinator Kirk Campbell stating on December 20 that Xi expressed a desire for forceful reunification, aligning with the U.S. commitment to the One China policy. Campbell reiterated the U.S. position against Taiwanese independence, opposing unilateral changes to the status quo and rejecting the use of force. Senator Lindsey Graham expressed concern over the report, emphasizing support for a One China policy along with freedom and democracy. He pledged bipartisan efforts to establish a strong defense supply chain for Taiwan and draft impactful pre-invasion sanctions. Graham asserted that if the CCP pursues aggressive actions against Taiwan, bipartisan support will back sanctions to counter CCP aggression. Don't forget to leave a comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. Make sure to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from China Truths.